So let's get to the law of asking, that 3-card spread, that guidance from this week, week 9. And so again, you can go to my website, www.raineyday.com, and download the full reading and full guidance with all of those wonderful metaphysical exercises to fast forward your spiritual growth. So the first card I pulled, it's from The Spirit Messages by John Holland. John Holland's such a wonderful figure in our metaphysical world, and his teachings are just so incredible. If you don't know about John Holland, Google him, look him up. He has wonderful card decks, incredible website with ways to educate you on your gifts. So look him up. And this is from, again, the Spirit Messages deck. The card that I drew is Let Go. And so that energy is, once you let go of the outcome, you'll be able to release the emotional constraints that have held you back in the past. Now, most of us, and especially during this time and space in 2022, we are looking through the world through the lens of the past, and we need to be more present in the moment. That's another thing of letting go to those old belief systems. Trust in the higher good and guidance of spirit, as we only have your best intentions at heart, and will do everything in our power to protect you. That's spirit. So as we look at this card, Let Go, we're going to ask Spirit to guide us on this prompt. Spirit, what will I gain by letting go? And how would that make me feel? Very, very important. Now, I have a master's degree in clinical behavioral psychology. And when you check in with your feelings, there's a lot of information. You know, a lot of people say, so why are you not feeling good? I don't know. Or how come you're not happy? Well, I don't know. Well, when you check in with those feelings, it is a way to find out those things that are at your core, you know, what is really going on. So let go. Let's dig deeper. What a great follow-on card, right? After the Tower, after the dust settles, we want to let go. I swear, when you trust that the universe always has your greatest good, you will always stand in your perfect place, in that calm awareness, tuned into your own vibrational frequency. Remember, keeping our energy close to our physical form. So when you look at this card, you see the hands. The hands in this card are releasing colors. Now remember, wherever your eye is drawn, that's your message. That's the crux of what Spirit is trying to convey to you. Yellow, orange, and red leaves are bursting out from these hands, from this beautiful card. And these colors also represent the fall. So if you're looking for a timeline, letting it go, maybe it's going to take all the way through fall. Or maybe what Spirit's trying to tell you, that you will be prepared to let go in the fall. So this is, I'm teaching you how to talk to Spirit and communicate and understand those signs and symbols. So what does fall mean for all of us? I love the fall because, of course, it's a change in season, but it's also when nature completes its cycle, and that letting go. It's when all of the leaves fall from the trees, all of the plants just kind of go into themselves. A lot of things die off and go under the ground so that they can restore. We're not going to go that far, but the fall time is a great space to let go. And the cornerstone of this card really does follow the Tower, that even in more horrific circumstances, because the Tower card is pretty horrific. Remember the beautiful squirrel, all of his planning, it just crashed into dust. But in all of these horrific circumstances, if your inner compass is tuned in, you will, in all ways, navigate life's changes that were put in place for your highest good. And the key aspect of this energy, letting go, let go, is that in order to reclaim your perfect path ahead, you must be open to seeing those signs and symbols from Spirit. Spirit walks alongside of each and every one of us, not in front, not in back, beside you as your guiding light. The tower is representative of those ebbs and flows of life. Honey, it is just life. I know. It can be really challenging to trust in something that you can't see or that's not tangible. But when we linger in those human experiences, in our human mind, that is when self-doubt, fear, internalizing ego, don't forget, name your ego, that's when Bob pops up, self-sabotage, you give away your power. That's when depression sets in. That's a real clinical thing. Negative behavior, lashing out, crying, not knowing what's going on, just feeling like the tower, the world is crashing down. And then sometimes we get a little aggressive because that's out of fear. And for me, I don't like conforming to what other people think are the norms of society. That's just me. I like to follow my own inner compass. But when you're in this, you don't see the norms. You go by what other people think your norm should be, if that makes sense. And even addiction can materialize. And I don't mean just drugs or alcohol or smoking. It also can be walking excessively or cleaning your house excessively. It's doing things in excess. And people, this is no way to live this precious gift of life. When you enhance your spiritual abilities and walk in a higher vibration, life flows. I promise. There is a bigger picture, and when you let go of the outcome, so many wonderful things start showing up, other doors opening, opportunities. I love this author because John reinforces my statement. Be brave and let go of the plans and ideas that are simply not working. Let go. You know, when I realized that Spirit knows better than I do, my life expanded in so many magnificent and lovely ways. I think that is how I was hired for almost every job I've had, and I've never applied. If you look at my resume, oh my God, you would be so impressed. And I am going to toot my horn because I walk in Spirit and I am led by Spirit, and that divine truth within and above and below. I believe in those things that you can't always see because they keep showing up for me. Truth. If you look at my resume, my professional life has been really quite astonishing. And if I didn't live it, I might not even believe it, because every time I feel that it is time to move on to another experience, you know, I just update my resume. And as I'm updating my resume, I imagine how I want to feel in my next endeavor. Yes, feeling the aspects. Aspects are happier, freedom, appreciated, recognized, given opportunities for growth, continual feedback and guidance. All of those aspects. Don't forget, you've got to look at the aspects. I imagine and feel them. Yes, feel the aspects. One of the greatest jobs I've ever been involved in. I didn't even apply. And they flew me to Oakland. And when I flew to Oakland, California for the interview, my mindset was truly, whatever. Yes, whatever the outcome, I was not tied to it. I know that an opportunity will present itself. It will be effortless, and I can be who I am in the interview. I went there with the intention, don't forget to set a clear intention, that if this is for my highest good, then Spirit opened the door for me. And I was just me. I got on the plane just enjoying the trip and the opportunity. I had a cocktail on the way back. I wanted one on the way there, but I thought, no, I'll have one on the way back. And I just let go of the outcome. And I enjoyed my cocktail on the way back and cheered myself for being my authentic self and showing up. not being tied to the outcome. If it worked, it was meant for me. If it didn't work, thank you, Spirit, for watching over me. Can I tell you, before I got home, true story, truth, in my inbox was an email from HR with an offer letter. Beyond my wildest dreams. Full benefits upon my first day at work. 6-figure income. Opportunity for travel. All expenses paid during that travel, per diem. In an industry that was just growing, solar. The job that I had was the first of its kind, the largest in the world, and I was number 3 employee from this beautiful, magnificent company that was a startup business from Israel. And they were doing their first project here, and it was with the Obama stimulus money. And you've heard of Solyndra. It wasn't that. They went bankrupt, but my project finished. While I was reading the offer, I asked Spirit to help me tune into this question. If I accept this position, how will it make me feel? Truth. I didn't let all of those beautiful, shiny little sparkly trinkets say, oh, I've got to do this. I've got to jump on this. This is a once in a lifetime thing. I thought, you know what? How would it make me feel? This offer, the 6 figures per diem when traveling. Yes, I've always wanted to travel for work. And look at that. Full benefits included upon offer and 11 days paid off. I said, yes, I do, because it felt good. Did I tell you they paid for me to go to Israel several times? And the company paid me for a tour guide in the old city every time to take me through it. It was life-changing. Bam! My dreams came true. It was so life-changing. And truly, it was kind of like a happy accident. Most people would think. But again, everything when you walk with Spirit is divinely guided. Another job, while I was on the road leaving Ohio, coming back to Vegas, getting off the road because I wanted to travel for work. Be careful what you ask for. My Jeep broke down in Jackson, Wyoming. And it took them 2 days to fix it because of a part they had to order. But most people would be like, oh, I'm a turtle on my back, screaming, thinking, oh, why me? Roll me over, somebody. But no, that's not how I live my life. Not me. I knew the universe had a better plan. So I enjoyed the moment. I thought I'm in Jackson, Wyoming for 2 days. So guess what? As I was in my hotel room, I got another request for an interview. And I wasn't going to be back for 3 days. And they waited for me to return to Las Vegas. They found me. I just put my resume out on the internet with the intention and feeling what I wanted to attract and bring to my life, those aspects. When I walked into the interview, there were 9 people around this huge, large conference table. And there were a couple people on the intercom system. Now, most people would be like shitting their pants, especially walking in and not knowing you're going to be interviewed by a dozen of people or so. But because I nurture Spirit and that calm awareness, I was in my calm awareness mode. I'm going to be Rainey. And that really is my name, by the way, people, if you don't know. And I answered their questions, not how I think I should answer them, but my truth and how I would do my job and handle issues and what my strengths and weaknesses truly were. And yes, I wasn't shy about my strengths, which I have to tell you was something that no one in the room had heard before. My strengths, and that's for a whole other time, but you need to be able to toot your own horn without sounding egotistical or narcissistic, because that just comes from your human mind. That comes from the ego. And so I put Bob in the closet and I'm just me. And I let them know all the things that I've done that I'm proud of. And again, when I got home, I had an email asking me for a second interview within a week. I was a new hire in the largest gaming company in the world. Oh, and by the way, following my highest good, I created a program at Caesars Corporation, Caesars Entertainment, that at first, like, my immediate supervisor said, no way. We don't have a budget for that. And I didn't give up because I believed in something. I am an outside of the box person, and I was spirit just reinforced. And I believed so deeply that I just kept pushing through. I just kept going higher and higher and higher with my plan. And I laid out the plan, and it was truly channeled by spirit. I promise you. And I ended up creating a program that gave over $15 million in free furniture to those in need. I also sent several floors from Bally's Hotel and Flamingo Hotel from a renovation we were doing. I trucked that furniture down to Hurricane Harvey victims. And yes, I did that. I won the highest honor in the largest gaming company in the world. I had only been there a year and a half. I was their hero of the year. Yes, I did that. I'm not any more special than you are. It's because I am spiritually led. Yes, I did that. I have so many more successes, and I attribute it all to trusting in that universal intelligence. Spirit will guide me, and that divine source energy. As long as I follow my yellow brick road, I will always be home. I will always be in my perfect place. And that as long as I am free and not coupled to the outcome, I let go and trust spirit. I am always guided to where I need to be. And just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, oh baby, there is no place like home. So, wow, oh wow. Let's ask that question again. Spirit, what will I gain by letting go? And how will that make me feel? Let that sink in. So, the exercise for this energy of let go, it's all about energy work. So grab your pen and paper and write this down, and let's journey together. Let's fast forward your spiritual growth so you too can let it go, not be tied to the outcome, bring in those aspects that build you up so that you live in your authentic, true self, and that you are true to your soul. So this is called conscious listening. And you're going to need, of course, another separate journal only for this purpose. And make sure you name this journal appropriately, because it's going to be as a living, sentient being, just like Mother Earth is, just like all of these other beautiful elementals, our ego even, spirit guides. This journal is going to be a living, sentient being, just like the Akashic records. And just please keep that journal as if it were a Bible, a sacred space for you to journal and work on this exercise, this conscious listening. So this exercise is to truly get you to go consciously, go in and out of selected conversations. And the reason you do this is that's how you start tuning into spirit. That's how you hear their frequencies. Because you need to learn to tune in and separate those sounds and frequencies. This is how you discern and ascertain and perceive spirit. They are all in this background noise all around you, 360 degrees. They're not 10 and 2. Start looking up into the ether. If you can quiet your mind and tune in, you will be amazed at what you hear. And it might not even be a physical sound. It could be an impression in your mind's eye, or a knowing, or a taste, a thought that is outside of your own realm. Be open to receiving whatever spirit wants to deliver. And you're going to keep a record of this so that when you feel spirit has communicated the entire story, you can put that story together. You can put those pieces together, because what we do with spirit sometimes, it's like putting a puzzle piece together that reveals the whole story. There's times when, a lot of times, when I get the entire message all at once, you just can never predict, especially when when you're doing work on yourself. That comes in bits and pieces. So you need to put the story together. You can just never predict. And that is where letting go of the outcome comes into play with this exercise. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to practice tuning into different conversations in different places. In your journal, I want you to note all the things you hear around you as you focus in and out of those certain conversations. The point is to work on hearing only one conversation at a time, or a sound at a time. So if you were to be quiet right now, what are you hearing? I can hear the TV in the other room. I can hear the dogs. I can hear kids playing down the street. I can hear a faint sound of cars. Oh, I just heard a little hummingbird zip by. So hear all of those things. So you're going to choose one and tune into it. And just note all of the things that you hear around you as you focus in and out. You can go to, here, I'm going to give you some places to do this with, so that you're not just in your space, because you've got to fine tune it and you've got to keep working at it. The point is to work on hearing only one conversation at a time. So here's an idea. Practice going into a crowded place like a restaurant. We don't have subways here in Las Vegas, but a lot of people do, or mass transit, or a party, or in your office, or walking through, go out to lunch or to dinner, and just practice at these different spaces. Go to a park. Maybe sit outside and to listen to all of the sounds that are going on all around you. And that means getting out of the building, out of your physical space, and going out in nature. One time, I swear, I was out at Overton and we were looking at all of the different duck blinds before duck hunting season. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I was raised on a ranch and I know where my food comes from. But it's okay if you judge me. I digress. But I was sitting there quietly because my husband walked way up further with the dogs. And I could hear all these different animals, like crickets and frogs. And I kind of tuned that out and started to tune in kind of back behind me. If you were to take a 12 o'clock dial, it was at 5 o'clock, between 5 and 6 o'clock, that I heard it literally sounded like marching. And I kept tuning into it. And I picked up my phone and I turned on the video and I started videoing. And right at that spot where I was hearing was an anthole, and they were marching in with things and out. And I even put it on my social media. It was just incredible. So I looked up when I got home. What is the symbol of an ant? Or what does a spirit animal ant mean? Or what is the spiritual meaning of an ant? And it was phenomenal. It gave me a message at that moment in time that I really was so grateful, because something was unfolding and I didn't even have to really put much effort into it. I just surrendered and spirit brought me the answer. And it all came from an anthill. Pick one sound or conversation from a group and focus on that conversation, kind of eavesdrop. Close your eyes. Closing your eyes helps shut off your visual, because we're all very senses oriented humans. And so when you close your eyes, it helps you tune in to those sounds. And then I want you to just start asking yourself, what does it sound like? What are they saying? What different sounds, like I just told you, are there in the background that you can hear, even if they're distant? And can you switch between these sounds easily? Can you switch between the children playing and the television? And sometimes the TV, it's kind of loud. It's kind of hard to drown that out. But if you focus, close your eyes, I don't even hear it anymore. And here's another thing you can do. Switch stations. Tune in and out of one conversation and into another. And you can even do this, like turn on the news and then go to the next news channel. Close your eyes and then go to the next news channel. Or turn on like a sitcom, or like Saturday Night Live, where you have a lot of people talking, and just tune into one voice. Just tune into one voice. It's amazing what comes out. And just keep practice doing this a few times. You will start to sense, hear, and see and notice those signs and symbols that spirit and the universal intelligence and even source energy are trying to send you. And don't be tied to the outcome. If you don't hear anything the first time, maybe you're just not ready to do it. Maybe your mind isn't clear enough. Maybe it's just, you're just not ready. Don't be hard on yourself. Walk away from it. Come back to it later. All of these exercises are no stress. If it doesn't work for you after over a period of time, then it's not for you. That's that. Find what resonates and throw the rest away. If it doesn't work for you, it's not meant for you. We all tune into spirit differently. And so I'm going to end this first card draw. And don't forget to go back and answer that prompt, that spirit prompt. I'm going to end with a quote. And this is from Paul Selig, Selig. And the more that I find out about him, the more I find these beautiful people and just kind of get inspired by them. So I ask you to go out there and find mentors and find these things for yourself, because it just opens up a beautiful other world. And sometimes it opens up those rabbit holes. But we're good with rabbit holes. Okay, Paul, what do you have to say for us? To blame the self for acting out of alignment condemns the self, which actually reinforces that misalignment, that strength that it holds upon you and supports those fears. So you don't blame yourself for acting out of alignment. You don't condemn yourself, because then that just puts you further out of alignment with your higher self.